Did you guys know that the Pentagon actually played a war game where they predicted Generation Z doing a rebellion funded by Bitcoin? Basically, that they would steal money from the establishment and funnel it into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And this was an actual war game that the Pentagon thought up, created, and is preparing for. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson calls crypto a political movement, and Zilliqa activity price surges after paying users to tweet about it. I don't know about you guys, but these articles today sound pretty interesting. Most excited for the Zilliqa article and for this Pentagon Wargame article. So I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to start off with Zilliqa. All right. So a tried and true growth hack strategy appears to have worked for Zilliqa, but will it yield sustainable long-term results? And I just want to give out an early reminder to you guys. If you guys could like the video, that would help me so much in getting this out there. With that said, let's begin. So in brief, Singapore-based blockchain platform Zilliqa launched a social pay campaign. It paid Twitter users in Zil to tweet about Zilliqa during a 72-hour period last week. Metric site LunarCrush reported significantly increased activity for Zilliqa as a result. Last week, enterprise-centric blockchain app platform Zilliqa launched its social pay campaign, putting up 500,000 Zil, which was worth about $3,500 at the time, in rewards for users who tweeted about the service. By all indications, it worked. On Thursday, after the 72-hour pilot campaign concluded, social media metrics site LunarCrush showed Zil atop its top 5 alt rank chart, which is based on outstanding social activity plus exceptional price performance versus Bitcoin plus rising trading volume. That was a pretty big mouthful. The ranking showed a rise of more than 25% in price against Bitcoin, pacing Zil ahead of the likes of Matic Network, Nano, Digibyte, and Electroneum. So that's pretty impressive. Similarly, a post from data analytics startup Flipside Crypto dubbed Zilliqa the crypto of the week and highlighted growth in terms of its fundamental crypto asset score, user activity, developer behavior, and market maturity. They said, with everyone locked up at home, this easy way to make pocket money proved immensely popular, wrote Flipside Crypto. Not only that, but the tactic is actually very powerful for spreading awareness of Zilliqa and for making a programming language for developers called Scilla more widespread. Zilliqa offered to pay out its cryptocurrency for people to tweet about it, and people tweeted about it, thus yielding increased activity. Zilliqa reports that there were nearly 80,000 tweets during the social pay campaign, along with engagement from more than 35 million Twitter users. It may appear to be an easy way to fake a large and thriving community if one is only really there for the free rewards. On the other hand, it recalls PayPal's early referral program dubbed a legendary growth hack, which generated immense daily growth at a cost of $20 per user, $10 each for the referrer and new user. It helped make PayPal a financial services juggernaut. Zilliqa registered its 4 millionth blockchain transaction last week since its mainnet launch in January of 2019, less than 2 months after hitting the $3 million mark. So it's not like the Singapore-based sharding blockchain popped up out of nowhere to build a bunch of buzz around its cryptocurrency. The real question is whether the short-term hubbub around the social pay campaign will translate into sustainable long-term growth. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think it is unethical that Zilliqa basically marketed their product, marketed their Zilcoin by paying people to tweet about it on Twitter? Let me know in the comments below. Me personally, I don't really find much wrong with it. I personally run a software company and I pay influencers all the time to make videos talking about the product and advertise the product. It's just a part of advertising, and it's just the advertising that works today. It's much more cost effective for me to go and pay an influencer to advertise my video than it is for me to go and put up a billboard on the highway. That type of advertising just doesn't work. So how else are these people going to advertise? How else is a crypto coin advertised? And I think a lot of other cryptos are just going to go to influencers to help get their name out there, which a lot of them already do. And I think there's nothing wrong with that as long as these coins are real, the influencers are promoting coins that they believe in, and these coins have actual working products, right? They're not shit coins, they're not pyramid schemes, they're nothing like that. But let me know what you guys think, because that's just me, that's just my reality, and everyone has different opinions. So let me know what you guys think down below. Very quickly, the price of Bitcoin today is 9,700. Ethereum is at 242. XRP is at 20 cents. Bitcoin Cash is at 253. We have an 8-cent Cardano. Tezos is up at 293. Chainlink at 436. Guys, Tezos and Chainlink have been doing very well. VeChain is also doing very, very well at 0.0076. And Theta is still sitting at just under 26 cents now. Our fear and greed index for today is at 53, so nothing has changed. Yesterday was 54, last week 50, so nothing really changing, still trading sideways. And we are still in the same pyramid, right? Like I said, guys, we're just trading sideways, and we're really waiting to see what happens. There's really nothing too interesting. Right now is kind of a really boring time to just be looking at the charts. If you guys like daily cryptocurrency videos, and if you're enjoying this video so far, consider subscribing to the channel. I am a new channel, and all the support you guys have been giving me over the past couple of weeks has been amazing, so thank you all so much. So if you want to join the digital investor army, if you yourself are investing into digital assets, consider joining us, because I try to bring you guys some of the best news I can possibly find, and news that will actually benefit you and be able to make better decisions. With that said, I want to get into this article, which is the Pentagon Wargame envisioned a Generation Z rebellion funded by Bitcoin. And guys, just to clarify, so this is a war game, meaning this did not happen. A war game, the Pentagon conducts these types of war games. Like the US also has an alien invasion war game, which meaning the US has full plans that if aliens invaded, there's a plan on how we would defeat them, defend against them. I know it sounds insane, but the US actually has plans for that. So to hear them come out and say that they have a war game for a Generation Z rebelling against Bitcoin, I'm really not surprised, because they have war games for some of the most ridiculous things, but maybe they're not that ridiculous. Maybe some of this stuff could actually happen. So in this particular war game, the world has been hit by cyber attacks from a shadowy organization, Zilliqa, that funds itself through stealing fiat currencies from the establishment and converting it into Bitcoin. To me, it almost sounds like modern day internet Robin Hoods. Okay, don't panic though. That scenario is the premise for a war game from the US military, designed in 2018 to prepare troops for future conflicts fought on computers rather than on the field. Following a Freedom of Information request to the Pentagon, the headquarters of the Department of Defense, the 200-page document shows what the higher echelons of the US military seem to be primarily concerned about with cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. The war game is set in 2025 when an organization based on the dark web known as Zilliqa exploits dissatisfaction in Generation Z, Gen Z, who, with poorer life chances than their predecessors, are increasingly disillusioned with American and Western society. And sadly, guys, just reading that line, this looks more and more of like what we're going to actually start seeing. Will this happen in the future? I don't know. The Pentagon doesn't know. It's just a war game, but it's just weird because they're actually preparing for this. They wouldn't make these plans if they didn't think there was a chance, a possibility of something like this happening. Anyways, continuing on, the group encourages Gen Z members to participate in a global cyber attack that steals money from organizations deemed to support the establishment. The Pentagon document says stolen funds are funneled into Bitcoin. Zilliqa uses software programs to route any proceeds from the hacks into laundering programs that ultimately convert national currencies into Bitcoin and make small below-the-threshold donations to worthy recipients. And if Zilliqa members claim financial need, to the member who conducted the attack. How exactly the Pentagon imagines Zilliqa would convert fiat into Bitcoin, whether through an exchange or using a peer-to-peer marketplace, isn't elaborated in the document. It's also possible wargame designers use the term Bitcoin as shorthand for cryptocurrencies in general. Being public means third parties, including the US military, can easily monitor transaction flows. Being immutable means there's little a hacking group such as Zilliqa could do to retroactively obfuscate historical transactions. Furthermore, cyber surveillance companies such as Chainalysis have created increasingly sophisticated tools for identifying and tracking blockchain users. Unsurprisingly, some of Chainalysis's biggest clients come from the US government, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the DEA, and the SEC, just to name a few. The Pentagon's Zilliqa wargame was designed in 2018, back when the ICOs were flourishing, and when there wasn't much serious suggestion that mainstream society, let alone governments, would actually implement the tech. Because remember that, guys, back in 2018, when this wargame was designed, Bitcoin was nothing, laughing at Bitcoin, it's going nowhere, it's a bubble, it's rat poison 2.0 squared, and they were doing wargames on it. Just think about that. Think about how much we're lied to. Facebook has designed its own digital asset. China seems to be motoring ahead with the implementation of a digital yuan. Even the Fed, highly skeptical about cryptos in 2018, is researching a DLT-based dollar, digital. The Pentagon even released a report last July outlining a new cybersecurity shield that leverages blockchain to increase resilience to cyber attacks. Guys, this is pretty insane. You know, just the fact that they actually planned for this. And I know that they planned for an alien invasion, and to some people that might sound completely ludicrous and insane, right? And I'm not going to blame you for thinking that. But for them to also picture this, and they're doing this while back in 2018, they're calling it a bubble, they're calling it all these different bad things, but they're envisioning war games and how these war games are going to be played. And it sounds like it's going to be Gen Z, how they're thinking it. Gen Z, which is what? It's young people who realize that they have been indebted by their predecessors. They realize that the previous generations before them decided to put them into debt so that they could live large, so that they could live better, indebting another generation, which is completely unfair and completely tyrannical. In my opinion, there's absolutely no excuse to indebt a future generation so that you can live a little bit more comfy. It is effed up. And for them to actually recognize this and foresee that, hey, there may be a little revolt from it, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting to say the least. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, though, because like I said, it's interesting, and I'd love to hear you guys' comments. So let me know what you think about this. We're going to wrap up today with Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson calls crypto a political movement. He did this during a recent AMA. Charles Hoskinson describes crypto as inherently political, urging the crypto community to rally against efforts to stifle the space. And I mainly want to get into what he said. So, he says, crypto is as political as it gets. We're going to reinvent the concept of money and take it out of the government's hands and control it ourselves. Hoskinson emphasized that the crypto phenomenon is especially political by nature due to the creative destruction it seeks to bring upon monetary commodities and policy, stating that money is the biggest influence of all of politics. Considering the consequences of the wholesale adoption of distributed ledger technologies, Hoskinson noted that the impacts of crypto will reach far beyond the domain of money, stating, everything has to change: trade, property, business. The business structure changes, laws change. Hoskinson predicted that crypto assets will face increasingly hostility from regulators, saying there are people in the Senate and the Congress today in the United States and all around the world who would want to ban crypto. The Cardano creator urged the crypto community to fight against regulatory efforts to constrain crypto, stating, if you're in this industry, what do? Do you just roll over like a dead dog and say, it was a lot of fun, okay, all right, whatever? No, I'm sorry. You have to have an opinion. You have to fight for the right things. Right now, there's a strong movement to ban encryption so that when you have encryption, you need to have a backdoor in the system, asserted Hoskinson. Will you guys use Cardano if it has backdoors in it and we design the system that way and some small group of people have control over your money and at any time can freeze it? How many of you would use that? He asked. And I have to say I agree with him. I absolutely would not want to use it. I would not want to use it. And the messed up thing is that what happens if these backdoors are created and then you're forced to use it? Right? Just like in China, they're forcing people to pay with things on their phones using their BS government currency, right? You can't go to a store and buy things with whatever money you feel like, whatever money you and your fellow man value. It's just whatever your masters want you to have. Whatever your masters that rule over you decide for you, what you should use. They decide for you what money is. And you're going to use it or else, right? I totally get where Mr. Hoskinson is coming from, and I respect him for calling out basically this BS that's going on. The more things I see, especially with the news, the past 2 days, I've seen so much utter BS. It's insane. Guys, make sure your crypto's off Coinbase. Make sure you're holding it. Make sure you have your keys. You own your crypto, and be very wary of what's going on. With that said, if you guys liked the video, I want to urge you to subscribe. I'm going to keep bringing you guys information like this. I'm going to keep creating daily cryptocurrency videos. And with that said, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.